Working with Marlon was great because it had this kind of, I always had this feeling of possibility, and had this, it had this great competitive kind of a tug of war between this shining, the cliched idea, the shining youth, and the older decrepit flavour, naivety versus world weariness, and this constant backwards and forward that it could do. That was also good because I think somewhere it felt like Marlon's made that decision that I'd made as well, that okay, this is it, it's music, that's what it's about for us. So you had that feeling that that's what's important, and that was really nice to have a collaborator that had that same kind of focus, or that intense relationship with music. Tami's someone else who I think working with her, it was great, the sort of the robust positivity she brings. And I definitely remember first starting to work with her, it felt like, whoa, there's some fun on the stage, and that really changed things around. Like she's got an infectious enjoyment of stuff that's really, really great. She's also great to write with, like producing that album of hers. The first one, there was some quite big gaps in the song list that we needed, and we just wrote like about three of these songs in one afternoon. They just were like bam, and as soon as they were written, we were recording them 20 minutes later in the studio, still kind of writing them, and that was really exciting, just the pace that happened. That was really she's a great collaborator to work with. I remember we did this show in Devonport together, with Marlon and me and her, and we thought, let's do some covers, and she suggested some songs like Jackson, and I can't remember these songs, and I just thought, no way, that's too boring, that's too obvious, we should find some, like, sing an Otis Redding song. And started to change it, to try and get her to do You'll Never Walk Alone, like classic Torch songs, and taking it away from the country vibe into something bigger and more open to interpretation, and something that lets you stretch out as a singer as well, because she needs that space to stretch into. And I think she kind of, that was the moment she went, wow, you kind of get what I'm about. And I remember thinking, why isn't that what you present to people? Because that's the true, that's what you want to be showcasing, is that side of what you do. And I hadn't seen it till then. It didn't seem like that was sort of what was on offer, but it seemed like the logical way to go. I often think about that with production, because I think it's about seeing the essence you think, or a side that you think hasn't been seen, and then bringing that into the light, focusing the light on that, showing that facet of that person. I think with a lot of self-production, and I know I've fallen in the trap myself, is you just can't see what someone who's not busy can see. And I definitely remember recording with Tami's album, there was times when the band was playing and they were just kind of messing around with the rough idea of the song, and they had it. And so we sort of, me and Ben Edwards, like, just record that. Yeah, cool. And sitting there talking, and then they go, fuck man, we just don't have it, this is bullshit, fuck the song. And you're like, just keep moving, just do something else. And then later on, after that day, going, that was that song, and they're like, wow, that's it, that is the vibe, that is the feeling, that's the groove. So that was really, for me, that was a massive eye-opener, and I was really grateful for Tami to ask me to do that and give me that opportunity to be not one of the players, but one listening. And this it's interesting that, because I always had this feeling like I feel like I'm not doing anything. I feel lazy. I feel like I'm a charlatan. I'm in the wrong place. All this stuff. And then afterwards you go, oh, there's no way that would have sounded like that without someone who just was hands off and just thinking and listening and trying to find it. So I think production's a really interesting area for that, because it's so much about the esoterics of songwriting, arrangement, how you record it. All that stuff becomes really, really important, and it's it's a strange narrow path to walk, because you're not the engineer and you're not a musician. You're somewhere sort of going between these two worlds and trying to connect them, but trying to also find the way to get the right current flowing between them. I've found now I can nearly listen to anything and go, oh, I can hear what my touch would do to that, and that's interesting. Sometimes things are, you don't want to put that in there, and obviously you still enjoy things, but you can always click that part of yourself on where you think, yeah, I would have done it this way, or